It started with a storm, not the dramatic kind with thunder and lightning, just that endless, cold rain. The kind that seeps into your bones and whispers that something isn't right. I was locking up the cafe for the night when I saw him standing under the flicker of a broken street light. He was soaked through, shaking. His voice was barely a whisper over the downpour. "Excuse me," he said. "I don't suppose you know where the nearest shelter is?" I glanced at my watch. It was midnight. "Everything was closed. I'm sorry," I told him. "They're all the way across town, and they'd be full by now." He just nodded. No argument, no begging. He just stood there, dripping on the pavement. "I'll be fine," he said, so quietly I almost didn't hear it. That should have been it. I should have gotten in my car and driven home. But something stopped me. Maybe it was the way he wouldn't meet my eyes, or how his hands trembled, and it didn't look like it was just from the cold. It looked like fear. Then I heard my own voice, saying words I hadn't planned. "I have a spare room, just for the night." He looked up at me then, his eyes wide, like I'd just thrown him a lifeline. "I won't be any trouble," he promised. I'm Aaron. The drive home was quiet. My wife, Claire, was still up. She raised an eyebrow when she saw the stranger standing in our hallway. "A friend?" she asked, her tone skeptical. "Just for tonight," I said quickly, trying to sound reassuring. Aaron took a shower, ate the food we gave him without a word, and thanked us over and over again. Too much. Our kids, Mia and Lucas, were already fast asleep upstairs. The house felt calm, normal, but then came the strange question. Just before he went to the guest room, Aaron turned to me. "Do you have security cameras?" he asked. I frowned. "No, why do you ask?" He just shrugged, just wondering. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept dreaming of doors creaking open, of footsteps in the hall. When I finally woke up, the sun was streaming in, but the house was silent. Too silent. Claire wasn't in bed beside me. I checked the kids' rooms. Empty. Their beds hadn't even been slept in. Panic, cold and sharp, shot through me. I ran downstairs. Aaron was gone, and the front door was wide open. Just then, my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. It was just one sentence. "They're safe. Don't call the police. You invited this." My knees gave out. I collapsed right there in the entryway. I ignored the message. I called Claire's phone. It went straight to voicemail. I called again and again. Voicemail. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely dial 911. I didn't care what the message said. I called the police. They arrived in minutes. The questions came fast, a blur of voices and flashing lights. I told them everything, every single detail about Aaron. As I spoke, one of the officers' faces hardened. "You shouldn't have let him in," she said, her voice low. They knew the name, or rather, they knew the pattern. It wasn't really Aaron. He used different aliases, moving from one town to the next. He was never violent, they said, just ... persuasive. "They call him the Collector," a detective explained, his eyes grim. "He finds a family, and he inserts himself into their lives." My voice was a croak. For what? What does he want? The detective paused, looking for the right words. "He's trying to replace something he lost." The hours that followed were a living nightmare. Every tick of the clock was an eternity. Then, around noon, my phone rang. A video call, unknown number. My heart hammered against my ribs as I answered. Claire's face filled the screen. She was crying silently. Behind her, I could see Mia and Lucas. They were alive. They looked scared, but they were unhurt. "Please don't hang up," she whispered. Then he stepped into the frame. Aaron. He looked calm, clean-shaven. A completely different person. "You gave me shelter," he said, his voice soft, reasonable. "I need something in return." I screamed into the phone. "What do you want?" His answer chilled me to the bone. "Time," he said. "Just time." He explained it all, his voice never rising, never showing a hint of malice. Years ago, his own wife and children had died in a house fire. He was the only survivor. He didn't want our money. He wasn't looking for revenge. He just wanted to feel normal again. He wanted to have breakfast with a family. He wanted to hear the small talk. He wanted to borrow our life. "You'll get them back," he promised. "But for now, you have to trust me." The police tried to trace the call, but he was gone before they could lock on. For 2 agonizing days, I lived in a surreal hell negotiating with a man who wasn't a monster, but someone so broken he was willing to break others to feel whole. Claire was so brave. It hurt to see how strong she was, following his insane instructions, protecting our kids, keeping them calm. On the 3rd night, he made a mistake. He called again, this time from the same location as before. The police didn't hesitate. They moved in, a silent, tactical team descending on the abandoned house he was using. When they breached the door, there was no fight. They found him sitting on the floor, weeping. In his hands, he was clutching a faded photograph of a family. But it wasn't his. My family came home. We were all shaken, but we were alive. The house never felt the same after that. We changed all the locks. We leave lights on in every room at night. I still think about that rainy night, the choice I made. The exact moment my kindness became a doorway for danger. I still believe in helping people. I have too. But I also believe something else now. Not every broken person wants to be fixed. Some just want to borrow your life for a little while so they can pretend theirs never shattered in the first place. The most terrifying mistakes are often made with the very best intentions. Thank you for listening.